Good morning, everybody. Hey, Barb's Country Home. Hey, RG Homestead. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll wait another minute here to let other people have time to hop on.
Morning.
We have with us today Maddie at the Itty Bitty Homestead Committee.
Hello.
Our rabbit guru. Hey, Berkshire Farm.
I have some.
And there they are. Aw.
So I got 6 3-week-olds in the basket beside me.
Oh my goodness. How fun.
Awesome. Hey, Barb's Country Home. I'm catching up, my friend. I know you're not worried, but I am because I like to see what's going on at your place. I was kind of MIA last week. I'm waiting for the notification so I can open the live, and I haven't seen it yet.
Huh. RG, good to hear that about Starlink. I've been wondering.
I've heard great things about it. I think Daz has it in Australia.
Wow. Awesome.
He's got a large family, so you know how it is when everybody's on the internet. It's a drain.
Yeah.
Still nothing. That's weird.
Hello, Family Homestead. Welcome. Hey, Cindy's Place. Thank you all for coming in.
Oh, there it is.
Awesome. We might start noticing it for everybody else popping in too. So thank you for joining us today. And today we've got Maddie with the Itty Bitty Homestead Committee here. Hey, Van City Prepper. Good to see you. And RG said he's had Starlink for up to a week. And so far, wow, he can upload videos in minutes, not hours like it used to be. That's awesome.
That is awesome. See, it's funny. Well, and I'm not bragging by any means. I have always had the worst internet. And this is the first time in our lives we went with cable internet because we had it available.
Mm-hmm.
And my videos upload super quick. But that's, again, just because I was working remotely when we first came out here, and that's how I snuck that in.
Yeah. I have a lot of less than 10-minute videos that I'll tend to upload, and it takes around 45 minutes for those.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if, wow. And that's including the upload time and then the processing time.
Wow.
Depending. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think our internet's that bad, but that is how long it takes. Hey, Nikki St. Laurent and Prepping by Faith. And Gail. Hi there, Gail, Southern Living. Good to see you all. Mm-hmm. Nikki St. Laurent, is that for like a 10-minute video that it takes you around a half an hour?
Wow.
And hey, Garden and Table with Heather Lynn.
That's just frustrating. That's insane with today's technology. I'm just saying. I like to keep it real.
Oh my goodness.
You haven't noticed.
England at Christmas, over an hour for a 2-minute video. Holy smokes.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. That's a long time.
Oh.
I hope everybody had a great weekend.
And what's crazy about that is so many homesteaders that are like off grid and stuff, like will go to places like Walmart and stuff like that to do videos. So it's just so annoying. I just can't believe it with all the technology. Anyway, sorry, there's my rant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I hear you. And, with us, one of these days when we get more land, we're going to have to think about that wherever we are. And I don't know if Starlink is still available. I heard you had to schedule to sign up for that. And then if you missed it kind of thing, because they might have too many people. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but months ago, before it was even up, that was what I heard.
Wow.
RG said he could have been 3 to 4 hours in a 3-minute video. Holy smokes.
Okay, that's commitment.
I'll say. Oh my word.
That is commitment. I'm glad it's gone for you too.
Yeah, congratulations on Starlink, RG. I'm glad to hear that's better.
I guess I'm just happy that I didn't start on my YouTube journey until we had better internet.
Mhm. Right? All right. So, hey, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. And I want to introduce you all to Maddie, who is with the channel Itty Bitty Homestead Committee. And she is a rabbit guru, you guys. Raising rabbits for meat, raising rabbits for show. She just does it all. It's pretty phenomenal. And see, where's one of her little babies? Oh, my goodness. So we're going to be chatting with her today about just her goals for this year and her rabbits. And if you all have any questions for her, questions about raising or breeding rabbits as meat rabbits or show rabbits or whatever, feel free to ask that question in the chat.
I have during the live, I will do my best to get Maddie's channel link up in the chat so you can check her out. And Tammy, when I put it up there, I'll let you know so that way you could pin it.
I'll pin it. Last time when you said pin it, I pinned it in StreamYard instead of on the YouTube chat, and then it didn't pin the same. So I'll pin it right this time.
I'm going to look for it right now.
Okay.
Okay, Maddie, I just want you to know I was typing in Itty Bitty to search your channel, and guess what came up?
Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Itty Bitty Piggy Lyrics.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Another one.
Oh my gosh.
So the amount of times my husband has typed in my channel and TikTok and it comes up the other thing and he's just like, no, 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 no.
No. Abort the mission.
She's going to yell at me.
That's so funny.
Oh.
Okay, I am posting it right now. Hang on. Ooh.
Berkshire Farm, hey there. Good to see you all. They said they have Nomad, and they're going to look into Starlink. Nomad works pretty good, but it's pricey. I pay like $100 a month just because we live so remote that I'm paying $100 a month for internet. I don't know if that's normal for everybody.
Say where we live up in the mountains and like we have a mountain town, but everything else away from us is 30 to 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
And we pay the cheaper one in town is 80, but it sucks. And the one we have is about 100 a month, and it's pretty good to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I pay about 100 a month for it, but that's all I pay for. I don't have anything else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I put her a link in the chat so you guys can go check her out. Again, she is the Rabbit Guru.
Right.
And speaking of Rabbit Guru, because I'm dying to know, sorry, I need to know about this. Right before we went live, she was telling us something, so I want to hear this.
All right. So the way my program works is I'll weigh the rabbits as a litter for the first 2 to 3 weeks because we don't know if they're all going to survive, and I just want to see a gradual increase in weight. But once they hit about 2 to 3 weeks, when I can actually start saying, okay, we've made it past the bad part of their litters, normally about 2 to 3 weeks, I start weighing them separately. So I grabbed out this litter to weigh them separately, and I was checking to make sure mom was cleaning them properly, if I could tell sex yet. And this one had a really nasty looking, it almost looked like a genital infection, but it was hard. And I was like, no, it's not normal. So I sent a picture to my mentor and I'm like, hey, what the heck is this? And we're in a group chat with my mentor and a bunch of other people. And everybody's like, is it hermaphroditus? Is it a split penis? Like we're going on and on and on waiting for our mentor because she's typing a paragraph. And we're all like, what is this? And finally she gets back. She goes, it looks like a vaginal anal fissure. So basically what that is it's a hole in between the lining of the vagina and the anus that is formed.
Huh.
And you don't see it very often. And I asked her, I said, hey, should I cull this, basically? Is it going to be better to cull it because it's already infected? And she goes, actually, no, it's a pretty easy solution because in young rabbits, their genitals form so quick at this age that you can actually reverse it and fix it. And basically, you just need to do a suds bath 2 times a day, which...
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. You sit them in a suds bath, and I'll show you. She's not happy right now.
And the tissue will grow over where that fissure is, and it just kind of heals itself?
Yep. So she's a little wet right now. She just got out of her sitz bath and she's with her litter mates. And I'm actually going to put a video up on it with like the pictures and everything because it's going to be hard to see on the camera. But it's looking really better, a lot better. There's no more like pus or anything, and it's just swollen. So big improvement just from 2 sit baths from yesterday to today.
Wow. So what are you putting in the bath water when you say sitz baths?
So I put a tablespoon of Epsom salt, antibacterial soap, and then it's apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon. And then I just put about that much water in it just so she can sit in it. And she sits in it for 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. So the antibacterial soap, is it a special for animals soap? Nope. Just could be like Dial or whatever.
That's what it is. It's Dial. It's the same thing I use on my tattoos.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, HogDeer79, thanks for coming in. That is very cool. And such good news for the baby rabbit you got there.
It was. I was so, when I found it, I was really upset because, especially when she said what it was, I was like.
She's beautiful too.
She is, and she's showable is the thing is. And she's actually in the top 2 for our largest. I have a little baby in here who's 9 ounces, and then she was 8.2. So she's not only showable, but she's the second largest in the litter. So when I saw that, I was like,
oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, just exploring every path. Jeep, good to see you. So why don't you share with everybody? So you've got how many babies in the house right now?
So in the basket over here, I have 6. This is a litter of 6. But out in the barn, this is going to take a minute. Out in the barn, we just had 2 litters a couple of days ago from our mini Rex. It was our very last 2 litters from my buck cocoa that we butchered out a month ago. And there was a litter of 6 and a litter of 7. And they're 3-4 days old. Then we have 2 litters of mini Rex that are about, what are they now? They're 5 weeks old, and there's 7 in one litter, 7 in the other. We have a litter of 4 that is 3 weeks old that are silver foxes. And I think that's it.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Kentucky Patriot Prepper and Spring Meadow Farm and Garden. Thank you all for joining. So why don't you share with everybody, Maddie, about your channel, so clearly you got a lot of baby rabbits. When you're sharing with everybody about your channel, share with them like, what you do with these rabbits, how many you typically have had at one time, and then maybe what your goal is for all the rabbits maybe over the course of the next year, and just your channel and everything. You want to just kind of pop in, and I'm betting people are going to have some questions for you. I know I will.
So we here on the homestead, we breed rabbits for both show as well as sustainability when it comes to meat. We have one particular breed that isn't for meat. Those are our mini Rex that we supply the local 4-H kids with, but that our byproduct is meat. They're just a smaller carcass and they're not quite as sustainable. And then we also have 4 meat breeds, which are standard Rex, Californians, silver fox, and Champagne des Argents. So those are also show animals, but they are also meat.
What was that last one again? I'm taking notes.
No, you're good. Champagne des Argents.
Champagne des Argents?
Yeah, Champagne des Argents.
Oh, Champagne des Argents. Okay.
We're all taking notes here.
You are too? I know it, right?
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Rabbits and goats, they're the 2 things that I go, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
I have both. Stay away from goats. They're heathens.
My daughter's got goats, and they're the cutest little things. But I will say, her mama goat had 5 babies, so they had quints. We shared a video on them because I guess there's only like a 2% chance that can happen. But they're little escape artists, so they've had to kind of, they've had to mess with the fencing and that kind of thing. So, and there was so many, they had to bottle feed. And the boys, there was three nannies and 2 boys. And the boys were, of course, trying to eat, everything they could. And it's been a headache. She's only sold one so far. If anybody's in Arizona that wants a goat, she is a motivated goat seller. She's got 4 left. And one of them she sold was a boy. I know she's going to keep one of the girls. So that means she's got 2 females and a male left, if anybody. But anyways,
Halal Family Homestead asked a question, and I'm glad they're asking it because this is the person to ask right here. Which of these breeds taste best?
None. They all taste about the same. It just depends. What you're more looking for when it comes to rabbits is how fast they grow out and how large they get.
Yeah. Do any of those breeds get the largest?
So we're kind of head and head right now, and I can't speak on the champagnes because I only have a breeding pair, and Belle is a jerk, and I've been trying to breed her for 4 months and she hasn't had kits. I know she's fertile. She's had kits like the buck I have before, but she's being annoying. Anyway, so kind of head to head, Californians versus silver foxes.
Okay, Californians versus silver foxes.
Yes.
Everybody, you heard that. If you want to breed rabbits, the ones that produce the most meat is Californians and silver foxes. And I'm glad you shared that because, real quick, hey, Rusty's Rambles, Tiny Tim Posey, Arc Wildman Survival. Thank you all so much for coming, my friends. One thing I've heard that deterred people from raising rabbits, Maddie, was that they said that there wasn't a lot of meat like there. So I'm glad you said Californians and the silver fox breeds produce the most meat. How large is your family, Maddie? And I'm curious, like, how many rabbits would you prepare for a meal?
So we're a family of 5. A family of 4 rather. So we have the littles that are 5 and 1, and then me and my husband. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much everyone eats. If I butcher out a full-grown Californian, which is 10 to 12 pounds.
Oh my goodness, are they really?
Wow.
I did not know.
Did not know that.
I did not either. 10 to 12 pound.
Yes.
Okay, so is that after you clean them, is how much meat do you get off of those?
9 to 10 pounds normally.
Wow.
That's for a full grown, and those are our stewers. Those are our ones that they're normally about 6 months or older. That's normally where I butcher out a lot of our breeders. If I don't I've tried to prove them. I don't really like them. I'll butcher them out there. Your other option are fryers, which you butcher at 8 to 10 weeks, and they're anywhere from 5 to 6 pounds.
Okay, and the silver fox breed of rabbit, are those also between 10 and 12 pounds? You said they're kind of neck and neck.
They're kind of neck and neck. It depends on your lines. I've noticed with the silver foxes, they're slightly smaller than our senior Californians, but the fryers, so the ones that are 8 to 10 weeks, they grow out about the same.
Okay, so your fryers would be the Champagne d'Argent and the Standard Rex?
No, those are also meat rabbits. Your fryers are your babies of any meat breed that you butcher out before 12 weeks.
Okay. And when you say fryers, you just mean they're good in the skillet?
Yes. So basically you can eat them without worrying about
flour. Okay.
Cindy's Place has a question about, do you do anything with the furs? And I know you do. So you want to just talk a little bit about that. Yeah, sorry.
Of course. So after we butcher out the rabbits, we'll roll the furs. And we'll make sure the fur is on the outside when we roll it. That way we don't worry about freezer burn. And we'll throw it in the freezer. And I'll collect for about 15 to 20 pelts at a time. And then we'll salt and alum tan them in a big Lowe's, like 5-gallon bucket. I have about 10 pelts in the freezer. So this next butchering cycle, I should be tanning, and I'll have a bunch of videos up on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Real quick, Apocalyptic Ben 3311, Kill It and Grill It. And Copycat, thank you all so much for coming in and joining us. We've got Maddie with Itty Bitty Homestead Committee, who is a rabbit guru, sharing with us information on breeding and showing rabbits. And hey there, Ultimate Acres. Good to see you all as well.
And so the Californians, they do pretty well in a hot climate, would you say?
Yes, those are one of the better ones in a hot climate, along with New Zealand whites. With that being said, if you're not looking at showing, there's actually a new breed. It's not recognized by the ARBA, so you can't show it. But it's called the Tamuk, and it is basically a science experiment done by Texas AMU to create a more heat resilient rabbit. And again, it's not recognized by the ARBA, so you can't show it. But if you're just looking for meat and you live in Texas, Arizona, one of those hotter climates, that's definitely a breed to look into.
Well, let's go to the opposite climate, like ours, Maddie.
Right?
So when it comes to that, all of the rabbits I have are good with cold weather because rabbits are more dominant to cold weather areas. With that being said, the silver foxes do the best because of how plush their fur is. In the winters, we get down to like negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And
oh goodness, you all get really cold.
we live up in the mountains. But it gets really cold, and we have only ever lost, in this past year, we lost 2 kits to being frozen. And it's not because they were in their boxes, it's because they came out of their nesting boxes and they froze the wire.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Take my notes.
You want me to ask a question while you're taking notes?
Yep, you can go next.
So, Maddie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your goals are for your homestead, your channel, whatever your life, whatever you want to talk about and share publicly. And also, what are some of the things that you're doing to work towards your goals?
Yeah, of course. So if we're talking about like rabbits, since we're on that topic, then I'll get away from that topic. When it comes to rabbits, we're trying to improve our blue-eyed white lines of our mini Rex as well as our dilute lines. So our lilacs and our chocolates and our blues. For a better show quality, I just got a new buck. His name is Strawberry. He's a leg away from his grand champion, and he's now going to be the main sire over our mini Rex to bring quality up on those. For our Californians, I don't know if y'all have seen I have a series going on called Breed It Better, which is basically where I'm taking a standard meat rabbit and breeding it to the quality of a show rabbit. Like these rabbits, for the most part, would get me disqualified on the table right now. And within the next 5 years, I would like to get them up to grand champion status and basically be able to put them on a table anywhere and get best of show.
Awesome.
If we're talking about Rex, I don't know, the Rex are driving me nuts, like the standard Rex. I'm kind of thinking about removing them from my program. I got to do a video on that. They're really annoying me right now. I'm having problems with grow out rates, and then we've been having some birth defects that are rather odd. And the trio I got was from the same farm, and I'm looking through their pedigrees trying to see if maybe they have some commonalities. So I might get out of Rex here in the near future. Don't know, still on the fence. For my champagnes, I just want Belle to have babies. Belle, I have a pair. Belle just needs to have babies. That's my goal.
The rabbit, does she not know that?
Right? That's a good point, Lisa.
Rabbits and cats, right? Kits and kittens.
You would
That's
think
so funny.
And it's not them because they've been bred together before. They've had 3 litters together from like their previous breeder, and the previous breeders just stumped. And we're like, we're just gonna see what she does over the summer.
I think they need counseling.
They need marriage counseling or something. Maybe I just need to sit down with Moose and talk to him about his responsibilities. And then for my silver foxes, this will be my first year putting them on a show table. I want to see how they do, and from there, I'm going to decide where I should go. I will say I have a blue. It's not ARBA approved as a color, but it is being worked on. So my goal is I'm improving my blue lines. So basically, as soon as the ARBA says, "Hey, silver fox can show blue," I can be like, "Boom! I got blue."
Maddie, when you talk about the blues and the lavenders, are you talking about eye color?
No, they're fur color.
Oh.
So for instance,
Lavender rabbits?
yes.
That's like one of my favorite colors.
I was saying my daughter's pet.
Lavender rabbit. I don't think I have, unless I did and I didn't recognize it for what it was.
You have.
So this is a black, for instance.
Okay.
And then I have, let me grab the broken black that's not so
Famous Southern Belle. Moments with Vanessa. Thank you so much for coming in.
This is a broken black.
Okay.
So broken is basically
It's
the
cute.
coat pattern and then the main color, which is black.
Mm-hmm.
And then also this guy's a little wet because he had a poopy butt. This is a broken chinchilla.
Oh my goodness.
I'm hoping this is a doe for my program because I have a chinchilla out in the barn that's a chocolate chinchilla. So instead of having the black tips, she has brown tips, which is not a showable color.
Now, Maddie, what state are you in?
Colorado.
Okay. And I thought your territory looked similar to Lisa and I's in some of your videos when you see that. That explains it. So how did you get into showing rabbits, and where do you guys do that? Is there like an online club? Are you going somewhere physically and showing them? Like, I never even realized people showed rabbits until I was watching some of your videos.
So growing up, we lived in like a little cul-de-sac, and my best friend that lived behind me, she had a barn full of mini Rex, and we were both in 4-H, and she gave me the bug. So off of her mom, her grandpa showed Californians for years and years and years. I just became obsessed with it, and I started learning off of them, getting into it through 4-H, FFA, and then I joined the Army, and it kind of dropped off for a little while. And as soon as I was out, even in our apartment, I started raising rabbits in our apartment. I looked at my husband, I said, I want to get back to raising rabbits. Like, that is the first thing I want to be more sustainable. I want rabbits.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pause you right there and just point something out that you just said in case anybody in the chat or that listens to this in the future, if you live in an apartment or in any smaller size dwelling and you're limited on space, you can raise rabbits. Maddie's done it.
If you are going to raise rabbits in your house, plastic coating is the plastic sheeting. Staple it into your walls and your floor so you can actually spray everything down, because rabbits spray. They are big sprayers. My 1-buck alpha sprays his head daily for the ladies.
Oh my gosh.
It's disgusting. It is so disgusting.
Another reason why I'm not getting rabbits or goats.
You can cull it out of your barn. It's just, I don't see it as a big problem because I can clean it, but you can cull it so it's not an issue. It just takes time. Yes, kind of. So if you're looking, I just saw the question come up from Unlimited Acres. Let me see if it's in here. Silver, satin, Rylander, mini Rex. I know there's a Palomino in here. So the Palomino rabbit, which is this rabbit right here, right? It's not a colored picture. My standard of perfection's in the barn because I was playing with my Californians. It's a golden colored rabbit. With that being said, color-wise, there are a lot of rabbits that have that yellow gold color to them within breeds. Like there's something called a cream d'Argent. It's like a yellowy color with white flecking down the back. So yes. But yeah, so if you are raising rabbits in a small indoor space, plastic sheeting. If you are in like an urban suburban setting, you can actually raise if you're looking at like a 10 by 10 shed, your cages on standard are normally 2 foot by 2 foot. So you're looking at 5 foot across, right? So you can have 5 rows and you can stack them 4 high. So you can raise a lot in a small space.
Awesome. Real quick, Ultimate Acres, my Arizona friend, Maddie said that for hot climates, your 2 breeds of meat rabbits that are the most heat resilient are the Californian and New Zealand white. And there's another breed called a Tamuk that has been like crossbred to increase its heat tolerance.
Yes.
And she said those rabbits are like 10 to 12 pounds.
At senior weights.
And Miss Southern Belle, yes, she she eats the rabbits for meat. She also is breeding and showing them, and she does save the furs.
I have one question. So, Maddie, it sounds like you specifically have your breeds of rabbits for meat rabbits and your breeds of rabbits for show rabbits. Am I right about that, or does sometimes one crosses over to the other in terms of use?
I'll show everything in my barn. The Californians were the only exception, but I'm spiteful and now I have to beat people. So the Californians are going to be showable within a generation or two. But any rabbit in my barn is also edible. I am not beneath, so to speak, eating anything in my barn. And that's because, first and foremost, the reason I have these is for sustainable meat for my family.
Kill it and grill it, yes. A 12-pound rabbit.
Yeah, earlier, Kill It and Grill It, Maddie said that it was, the Californians were 10 to 12 pounds, but then by the time they were processed, she yielded about 9 to 10 pounds of meat.
And she said in size, they're neck and neck with also the silver fox breed, if you happen to have one of those breeds in your area. Silver fox and Californians are the ones that produce like 10 to 12 pounds. Sounds like the Californian breed is your favorite, though, Maddie. No?
I hate them.
Oh my goodness.
I hate them so much. Oh, I'll give you an example, right? My breeding buck, his name is Freak, right? There's a reason we call him Freak. It's not just because...
Oh, I saw the video with him. Freak, and was the other one George or something?
Freak and George, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
Freak, you go into his cage and he will run circles like a crazy freak. Like he's just choo. And it's like, my guy, I'm trying to feed you. And then as soon as he sees the bowl, he's like right here, like, oh yeah, food?
Yeah.
It's like, I love that little buck, but like, I don't know if you can see it or not, but like it's kind of hard. I am scratched to heck from those Californians.
Okay, Cindy's place, what do you use the furs for? And Tiny Tim Posey, also, how do you use the pelts? Blankets, clothes, crafts? Those are great questions. I'm curious as well.
So what we'll do is we'll tan them, and most of the time I'll take them to the farmer's market and I'll sell them for $5 to $10 depending on the breed and how the pelt comes out. And they go pretty quick at the farmer's market. My husband wants me to make him a blanket for his gaming room. So I'm trying to decide like what color I should do, because I like to keep it like unified. And I'm thinking about doing black Rex. So eventually I have 3 Rex in the basket, for instance. Eventually some of those will probably end up in our blanket, because I only have 1 Rex in here that I'm looking at keeping for show quality.
Awesome. And what was it you said you sold at the farmers markets?
At the farmers market, we'll sell quilts, we'll sell pelts, we'll sell rabbits, we'll sell bags of manure. I'm trying to get into seedlings this year. They are not cooperating.
You sell rabbits as in live rabbits, or are you selling processed rabbits?
I can't sell processed rabbits because I don't have the licensing.
I know.
Right? It's so
maddening.
It is, and it's annoying too, because they have to do inspections and they have to go through, and it's not I would pass all the inspections. It just takes so long, and it's like every quarter, and it's annoying. That's all it is it's annoying. So
government getting up in your business.
Exactly. And the thing is like they can go through and be like, okay, yeah, this is good, this is cool, but then they can do like surprise visits, and sometimes I just don't change out of my PJs, okay?
So
I work remote, I hear that.
So yeah, we're in the same boat. One of the things that I have learned, wink wink, is to sell the live rabbit. Just okay.
I got you.
Because even in South Dakota, we have to have an egg license.
And are you serious?
That is nuts.
You do.
No, I got you. Like that's. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's not expensive, but you have to show candling and all that, and it's the same issue, right? I can pass the inspections, but seriously, you're adding to my regulations. And whereas every other state, you can just sell them to friends and family. Now, if I sold them to a restaurant, I totally get that.
Of course.
Because you're trying to protect the consumer. And so here you can have an egg license or you can have an egg dealer license. So the restaurant is the dealer. I think it's the dealer. I may have the terminology wrong. I've given up on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, yeah. So just so you know, live animals, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Live.
Yep. That's how we got our half a cow.
That's how I get mine.
Mm-hmm.
Talk with friends because, you know, we can all help each other.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my one friend down the road, I helped them butcher out their rabbits for a beer.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
like that idea.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
Yeah, Friday night we're gonna bring a lot of rabbits.
Right.
Do the rabbits first, though.
Oh, I've made that mistake a couple of times. I like my
For real.
Bye, Miss Southern Belle.
Berkshire Farm had a good question. Are rabbits expensive to feed?
Hey, Jerry.
Relatively, no. It's all about relativity here, but when you look at like the cost of feeding rabbits compared to feeding like your chickens or your cows, it's much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
If I take a 50-pound bag of food, right, and I have a litter of 10 babies to feed mom and babies up to 8 weeks, I might a bag to a bag and a half of food. So you're looking, if you butcher them out right at 8 weeks at 5 pounds, 10 animals, right? That's 50 pounds of meat for about $20 to $25.
Yeah, that's awesome. Real quick. Hey, Carpenters Self-Reliance, Bushwhacker Mountain Company TV, and Grace and Fire. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are speaking with the rabbit guru, Maddie of Itty Bitty Homestead Committee, who's sharing all kinds of details with us on raising rabbits for meat birds and for show. So if y'all have any questions in particular, please put them in the chat.
I am going to be right back, ladies. I have to check on the chicken behind me making kind of funky noises.
Okay. No problem, Lisa. So, Maddie, when you were talking about your goals for this year, it sounds like you had your goals, like every breed of rabbit you have plans with.
Mm-hmm.
Is this all just up here, or do you write things down? Sounds like you've got, and you said that you can stack the rabbit cages, rabbit housing in 4 high.
Some are 3 high, some are 4 high. It depends on the cage that you get.
Okay.
And when you ask, like, is it all in my head or like, I have this app right here that is literally like rabbitry stuff. Like, for instance, if you go into breeders, I have all of my breeders, all of their information, and then like all of my litters right now. So you know how you asked how many babies we had? It's all right here.
That's awesome. What's the name of that app?
This is Everbreed.
Is that solely for rabbits?
Yes.
Okay. I paid for one that I was using. I'm looking for I had the free version, but then I paid for it. It was called SmartSteader.
Yep.
But I paid for it for the year. And the reason why I did that was when we first raised our pork, I tracked feed. I raised our meat chickens. I put them in there. And every time you had a harvest, you had all that. And it made life a lot easier. Now I've gone to this because I've got the worming schedule and everything written down and the breeding. But
I got you.
Yeah, I'm sure yours is a lot more detailed than mine.
All the notes.
Yeah. But
because I can see you're planning for generations ahead.
Yes.
When you were talking about getting your Californians ready for show, and you're saying we're going to be there in a couple generations, so you're planning generations ahead. That's awesome.
Yeah, Ultimate Acres. I have a chicken who has about 10 stitches in her belly after a dog attack last week. So she's in a crate behind me. Then I got a brooder full of turkeys back there. So usually she's very quiet, and today she's been very vocal. So I just wanted to make sure she was all right. I don't usually have chickens in my house.
I do, and it gets me in trouble every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Diesel's been great. I have to give Diesel props because he's not messed with her the entire time. So that's good.
He's a good boy. I love Diesel.
Yeah. When I
Hey,
take her,
sorry.
Glenda said, just waiting to pick up our dog. He had surgery. I hope he's all right. I wanted to go back to, we were talking about tracking stuff on the homestead, and that was one of the things for us last week. I mean, don't get me wrong. First and foremost, we lost a lot of chickens last week, and it was devastating, But I think the one thing a lot of people don't realize is that's about a $700 loss for our farm because of the fact, number one, the cost of and this is talk about basic math. This is not even all the costs. This is literally based on the cost of the chick when we bought them and the amount of eggs they lay and how much we would sell over 8 months that we're now going to lose.
Yeah.
So this is, a lot of people don't realize that's a huge loss because we sell out of eggs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awful.
It really is, and I completely empathize with you there because we see the same thing with our rabbits. Like if we lose a litter or we lose a baby or we lose a breeder for whatever reason, you're not just looking at the value of, oh, I would sell this rabbit for $50 or $100. You're looking at everything else it could do, especially with our does. Our does on our Californians, for instance, can have anywhere from 6 to 12 babies per litter. And have litters every 8 weeks if you wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's $50, $80 per kit, plus the feed going into all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So and then there's the emotional toll too, because I know if you keep chickens around for a while, even if you don't name them, for instance, you still know who they are and you see them every day.
Yeah, I mean, and I wasn't exactly eloquent in saying it in my video because I was very exhausted at the time, but that's what I was trying to say. A lot of our animals, right, we process them for meat, whereas the chickens, they're around every day and they're characters.
Yeah, they are.
Right. Like right now, mine are so mad. They are at the end of the run squawking at me every time I walk by because they haven't been let out.
Oh yeah, and the thing is you're completely right. With every chicken has their own personality and their own thing, and you get so used to that and going out, and when all of a sudden they're just gone on no one's terms but whatever happened, it's a surprise and it's a shock and it hurts.
It does.
For sure, especially since a lot of them were my first babies that we raised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say hi to some folks who've joined the chat. Brian's Lost Hills Homestead, Bear Truth 01. Thank you all so much for joining us. Mr. Boots and Bounty, good to see you. Thanks for coming. And Cala King 916, thank you all for joining. Farmer's Son Preppin', hey there. Thank you all for coming in to listen. We've got Maddie here talking about her rabbits that she raises as meat rabbits and show rabbits.
And Brian's Lowe's Hills Homestead came in, my fellow friend in the next state over.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Ultimate Acres. I appreciate it. I know you're here, Barb. And Grace and Fire, I hope that the service dog is well.
So, Maddie, I have another question for you. So it sounds like, with all the babies, with all of the adult rabbits that you have, how do you, I imagine, how do you manage your time? It sounds like you've got some you're doctoring inside of the house. And I know everybody's got different, animals on their homestead and gardens and things that we all kind of get in our own flow of things. Can you speak to that a little bit about how you kind of prioritize, keep things running and all of that stuff?
Yeah, so I'm a big schedule maniac. I schedule everything. It's one of the things my husband absolutely despises about me because we can't be spontaneous. I need 24 hours notice so I can schedule things. And I'm like that on the farm, especially when he's out on the road because he's a hot shot.
Uh-huh.
I'm like schedule. And one of the big things I do is my daughter goes down for a nap at about 10:30. And she doesn't wake up normally till 12:31. Yesterday she slept till 2, which was amazing.
Mhm.
But
Awesome.
I was so excited about that. So while she's napping, I get all of my farm chores done that I can't do with her.
Mhm.
So if I need to doctor rabbits, if I need to get weights in, if I need to, you know, butcher something out, I do all of that while she's down for nap.
Mhm.
And then when she's awake, I have a carrier that I put her in that I'll get my housework done, I'll get the gardening done, and I'll get all the things done that I need to. And while we do it, I'm just talking to her, you know, this is red, this is blue, and just like keeping her entertained on my back while I get this done.
Yeah. Awesome.
I love it. I love when you're walking around with her in the pallet. It's just great.
Mhm.
It always gets me. She has this little thing where she has her little hand and she'll reach it up over my shoulder and pull on my hair until I like give her snacks over my shoulder.
She's so cute.
Thank you.
Did
So
you see
cute.
this question from Bear Truth 01? Is it possible to raise a wild rabbit for meat?
I would highly advise against it. It's a bad idea. For one, you're not going to get the turnaround that you're going to get from domesticated rabbits. And that's because domesticated rabbits are not bred of the wild rabbits we have here, which are cottontails or jackrabbits or hares. They're bred from European rabbits that are, they've been bred for eons and eons and eons. There's an old myth that says that basically they were used by some priests, but there's actually new evidence that shows the ancient Romans were raising rabbits for meat.
Wow.
So they're a completely different breed. They grow out completely different. And if you bring a wild rabbit into your rabbitry, they can carry RHVD2, which is a hemorrhagic disease, and it can wipe out your entire barn.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
So if you're going to get into rabbits, stay away from the wild ones. Just go get meat rabbits. It's a lot safer for you, and it's a lot safer for raising for your rabbitry.
Yeah. It sounds like if we want to get rabbits from the wild, we're just going to be better off trapping them.
Exactly. And even then, if you're
Oh, no, I guess you could feed them.
right?
If you want to help feed them and fatten them up before you trap them, you could do that.
Save the wild rabbits for when we need them.
Yes. Hey, G Mama grows. But
Hey,
I'm
G-Mama.
thinking too, you trap them, they're at some point going to get smart and stay off of your property. Unless you've got plenty of property to do that on, maybe.
I think it just depends. I have noticed with like more wild rabbits, they're a lot more skittery and scampery.
Mhm.
With our domesticated ones, some of it is they're domesticated, right? But for instance, Coco, the buck that we butchered out, that was my sire to all of the rabbits in my barn right now, he got out of his cage daily, right? And as soon as I would walk into the barn, I'd see his little head poke around the corner and he'd come up to me like, oh, hello, Mom. Where are my daily treats to be put back?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, of course.
And we've kind of you and I have talked about it in the comments on your channel, but so Josh the Homesteader, he was as a channel on YouTube. He hasn't posted in a long time, but one of the things that I loved about his concept for how he raised his rabbits was a colony. So, well, no, I want to hear about it. So here's the thing. I really liked having them in a run, so to speak. But how do you manage that? Right?
You don't.
Go ahead.
All right. You don't. And this, when I'm talking about this, if it works for someone and they love raising their rabbits the way, like in a colony setup, do not let me deter you. Like, as long as it like works for you, you go, you do it. With that being said, there's a lot less control. I honestly don't understand how people raise in a colony and then show rabbits. Pedigrees are nearly impossible at that point because it's harder to say who's mom, who's dad. Because we've had rabbits. I've done colony setups before. I don't like them. You will have does nurse each other's babies. You will also have the teenage rabbits kill the newborns. You also can have problems with does getting into fights. And also another problem I have with it is space, right? Technically in a colony setup, per doe, they need 10 square foot because of how territories work. So if you're looking at a 10 by 10 shed, you're pushing it to put in 2 does and a buck for breeding before you even have kits, let alone when you have kits and you have to breed them. And that's like, theoretically, that's how professionals say to do it. With that being said, If you're breeding them in a cage structure and then taking them periodically to runs that are sanitary off the ground so they have more space to run around and exercise, I find that to be better
Okay.
because there's more control. You see less disease. It's easier with disease management. It's easier on your pedigrees. It's easier on your pocket, and you can raise more.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Makes sense. I asked because, like I said, it's for someone who's a non-rabbit person,
Yeah.
me, when I saw it, I was like, I like that idea, and of course it goes back to the way we're programmed, right?
Yeah.
Don't cage an animal in. And
Yes.
that's automatic programming
Mhm.
because you want them to be free. I mean, I just talked about having the chickens in the run, and it drives me nuts that they're in the run. But I also know that for their protection, they have to be there. So I think you raised some really good points.
I will say when it comes to like cage versus free, given the option, like I have my 15-pound Flemish in the corner, right? If I open his cage up, getting him out of his cage and keeping him out of his cage on free run time is nearly impossible. He does not want to run around. He
Well,
wants to be in his cage because it's a
yeah.
safe spot. They like dens. Um, if you look at wild European rabbits, they live in what are called warrens, which are groups of rabbits, and they den a lot. So they dig under, they hide in spaces, and then they come out twice a day to come eat, and then the rest of the time they hide.
Huh. That's true.
So they like those confined spaces. And
Mhm.
one of the things that's always brought up is, does the wires hurt their feet, or why they don't have room to run around and do their thing? They have room to run. They will zoom around that cage like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
There are actually some rabbits, they will do that, and you have to distract them and like give them toys or something to do because
Right.
they will overwork themselves. And then as for like the sore hocks or like the rubbing of the wire on feet, as long as you have 14 to 16 gauge wire, PVC coated is even better. They don't have foot pads like dogs do. They have fur pads, and the fur on them is about that thick. And it's bad genetics that cause sore hocks, not the wire.
Good info.
Yeah,
Good
that's.
info.
Did you see this question here?
I would think rabbit would have more of a gamey taste than domestic. Yes. Wild rabbit is much tougher, much gamier. If you butcher a rabbit out before, we've noticed about at the 1 year mark. If you butcher out a rabbit before the 1 year mark, you don't really have to worry about gaminess. It's not quite as tough. Now, if you have an older rabbit, an Instapot is amazing. You don't even notice it.
Awesome. Here's
What,
another one. What do you do if you have a doe that eats her kits right after birth?
I have a 3-strike rule. Um, so first-time mothers, I always expect them to be cannibals.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
It's especially if you have a younger first-time mother. I always wait for my all of my rabbits, no matter what, 6 months or older is when we breed them. But we always wait for them to get to at least 80% of their senior weight. I prefer them to get up to senior weight. But we have to breed them before a year old for the first time, and that's just pedantics. But that's something else I can get into entirely. It'd be an entire tangent. But mommy rabbits for the first time are horrible mothers for the most part. Just expect that. So the first time I always expect to lose a couple in the litter with a bad mom. And then most of the time, the second time around, they're great. They're amazing. With that being said, knock on wood, my past like 6 litters, 6 first time moms, they have only lost like runts. They have been amazing. If I do have a doe that I know likes to eat, I'm going to try the bacon trick. So next time they have babies, I'm going to feed them a little bit of bacon before they have their litters. And then if need be, I will shelf the kits. So shelving is when you take the nesting box out of the mommy's cage and you put it back in twice a day for her to nurse under supervision. And then you'll pull the kids again until they're about 2 weeks old.
And those were called what? Shelving kits?
Yes, shelving kits. So like, let's say this right here is my nest box, right? It's not, it's my basket that I use to transport kits into the house. I'll take this and I'll put it in the house on a shelf where like in my office where the kids will be safe. And then I'll take the basket out and I'll hold mom so that the kids can nurse off of her twice a day. And then I'll just bring the basket back into the house.
Huh. So you supervise that for how long did you say?
So you take them out 2 times a day for the first 2 to 3 weeks. and then you can try reintroducing the babies when they're mobile.
Okay.
Okay. And can you share, a minute ago you showed a book, but you didn't show the title. And I know we got a lot of book folks. Raising Better Rabbits. What's the last word? Hold it up a little higher.
It's Raising Better Rabbits and Cabbies. It's the official guidebook to the American Rabbit Breeders Association. So when I talk about the ARBA, which is like the big showing entity, that's who I'm talking about. They are the end all be all, know everything about rabbits. They are the experts. They're the ones. All this information is up to date since 2020. So all of their studies and everything have been updated. I had a rabbit breeder say he fed his rabbits a slice of bacon. Yes, that's what we are trying as well, just to see if it works. It has something to do with an iron deficiency or a protein deficiency.
And what is it to prevent if you, obviously the deficiency, but like, why are you feeding the bacon?
And are you just feeding it once or like multiple times?
Normally we just feed it like once or twice a day or so before the mom gives birth. It's to prevent cannibalization of the babies.
Got it.
Oh.
You got where I was going with it.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So that's what you want to do with any rabbits that are going to do it before they have babies or after they have the babies?
So from what my mentors have said, because I brought this up to them and I was like, this is insane. People cannot be feeding their rabbits bacon. Like, no way. And my mentor was like, yeah, that's like an old school like breeder trick. And I was like, you're kidding. And she's like, no, like seriously, try it. So she would feed them before they gave birth and then they were good to go.
Awesome.
They feed new mama pigs beer.
Beer.
So that way they'll calm down and nurse. But usually they just need to give them a little while to settle in and letting instinct kick in.
Okay.
So before they give birth and then right after they give birth, or no?
We just what I was taught is if you're expecting them to kindle, let's say on the 15th, right? You would start feeding them on like the 12th or the 13th, just a little bit, like that much. Like,
okay.
Just to help them get their iron and protein levels up, and it helps with the whole like cannibalism thing.
Yeah.
Now, if that doesn't help you might just have a really bad mom.
Hey, Matt Acre Farms, welcome in.
And I saw one person, I'm going to hop back up higher. Oops, hold on. Here we go. They raise rabbits, butcher about 12 to 14 weeks. I always heard 10 to 12 weeks, but what do you do?
It depends on the breed. So I could butcher out with my meat breeds 8 to 12 weeks, depending on how lazy I want to be and how large they are. With that being said, most of my rabbits, I wait 16 to 20, even my meat rabbits to butcher out, because I am looking for them to be show quality or not.
Okay.
And they have this, like, at the age of 8 to 12 weeks, they're in that ugly teenager phase. So they just don't look proportionate. So when you pose a rabbit,
they look real leggy, huh?
They are. So when you pose a rabbit, you just take them and you just do this like little squish thing, right? And you're looking for like where their high point is, if they look flat or a little bald, maybe. And basically, depending on the breed, is what you're looking for. If it's a compact type or if it's a commercial type. And teenagers, just like teenage humans, look weird. So if you give them that extra month or two, it makes it to where you can see a better show quality than if you were to be like, I've had so many rabbits at 8 weeks, I would have butchered because they looked ugly. And then I would have lost out on an amazing show rabbit. So it depends on what your program needs. And it also depends on your lines, because there are some Californians you're ready to butcher. I have some Californian breeders, they have 5-pound rabbits by like 5-6 weeks.
Wow.
And they'll butcher them at that point. I want to know what lines they have. They won't tell me. I need to know their lines. But some, they wait 12 to 14 because their lines are not quite as fast growing. It's a lot of it's genetics.
Yep. Real quick. Hey, Chris and Larry Homestead. Good to see you all. Matt Acre Farms. Hi there. Thank you all for joining us. Aroki Homestead. Good to see you guys. Gathered Together Homestead. I'm pretty sure I already said hi to y'all, but just in case. And Carpenter Self-Reliance. Can't remember if I said hi to them too, but thank you all for joining us. Does anybody have any questions for Maddie in regards to rabbits? Anything rabbits?
Oh.
And if you think of anything, if you think of anything, go to her channel. She's got several videos on rabbits, like mind-blowing charts, you name it. It's almost like a TED Talk.
Do you see what Brian's Los Hills Homestead?
Yes.
I have pugnut squares.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
let's see what you got there, Maddie.
Pugnut squares for my blue-eyed white lines.
That is awesome. I remember that from science class.
I say I got to get another video up in my genetics series, and I was thinking about doing blue-eyed whites.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting there running pugnut squares.
Oh, here's G Mama Grows wants to know, is it dangerous for her rabbit to eat paper?
Yes and no. Like, it's one of those things where it's not the most dangerous thing that your rabbit can eat because of how it breaks down. With that being said, when it comes to non-food items, just like anything else, we worry about pica in animals and gut blockages. Rabbits are extremely susceptible to things like GI stasis, which is where they collect gas in their guts, and that will eventually kill them. So you want to be very careful with a rabbit's diet. It's not the worst thing that it could eat, but definitely try to stay away from non-food items.
Diesel does it all the time. Eat paper.
Hi, Freedom Quail.
Hey, Free Hanley Maid.
I think there's, Victoria, you're going to have to tell me what day they're supposed to. I think lockdown happens on 27 or they hatch on 27. I'm not good at this.
But you're good at rabbits, so you're good to go.
I am. So, for those of you who don't know, Freedom Quail, she's my neighbor. She was in here earlier messing with her incubator. She is the quail guru queen. She's really good at that. She's like my mentor on that, and I ask her all kinds of stupid questions. And I know I need to candle these. I was just thinking about that earlier. They need to be candled.
She said day 18 and day 18 to 21 they hatch.
I'll have to talk to her after this live and see where I'm messing up, because I don't think they're there. I think they've only been in the incubator for a week. I have to look at when I made the videos, because I made videos of me being like, look, I put the eggs in, because I'm really bad at quail stuff. But I'm going to get better.
It's all right. We're all learning.
Right?
Candle on day 18, she said.
Candle on day 18. Okay. Okay, good. Glorious.
Or you could just wait until they hatch and you'll know what's going on.
Except for she told me this one time that she let an egg go in the incubator because she didn't know it was bad, and it stunk up the whole house to high heaven.
It will.
I don't want that.
No. Or they explode, I've heard.
Oh my goodness.
No thanks.
Is
I
anybody-
have it written down.
Oh, sorry, Maddie. Go ahead.
Oh no, I have it written down somewhere. I just got to find where I put it.
Does anybody have any other questions for Maddie before we wrap up our talk today? Thank you again for coming on, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. And I'm sorry I didn't mean to ignore you on Instagram. We were out at the Great Sand Dunes and we had zero service.
Don't worry about it. We got a hold of you. That's all that matters.
Sounds like a fun time.
Oh, it was.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in today. We sure appreciate it. Maddie, we have so enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Maddie.
I'm going to keep in touch because rabbits is one of the things that I've been thinking about doing as well.
Of course.
We've got some stuff that's going on, so I'm going to have to wait a bit. But thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a great day. And Maddie, thank you again. It was awesome having you on. You answered a lot of questions that I had, and you answered things I didn't even know. I didn't even think of yet. So I think it was a great conversation. Hey, Pure Pondering.
No worries, Kate.
We'll see you all next Tuesday on Lisa Yogi Hollow Farms channel for same day, same time. Tuesday, 11 a.m. Mountain Central Time. Yogi Hollow Farm next week. You all have a great day. Thanks again, Maddie. You take care. It's been so
All right.
fun.
Thanks
Bye,
for having
Maddie.
me.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.